MTN News. This is Positively Montana, sponsored by Whitefish Credit Union.
Welcome to this edition of Positively Montana. I'm Russ Riesinger. Over the next half hour, we're highlighting those helping to make the Treasure State a better place to live. A few stories we'll share with you, how instruments are keeping Bridger in tune, and a Blackfeet boy being recognized for a multicultural dance event. But first, a Montana man has developed a germ-killing technology to help keep some of America's heroes healthy. MTN's Hannah Hislop got to test out the product firsthand in our first Positively Montana report.
We're starting to think about how can we be better stewards of the world we're going to leave behind.
That is the brains behind the operation, Jason Gardner. As a thinker who has a background in insurance, he is always cooking up something to help others. And 3 years ago, he started Cart Clean after pondering the question of why people get sick.
Really need to get back to why do people end up in a hospital to begin with? And it's viruses, bacteria, fungi, and protozoa.
And in 28 seconds, the items are ready and clean and sterile.
Cleanest water in Missoula.
Cheers! The technology is 99.9% effective at breaking down DNA and RNA at the molecular level, using UV wavelengths to kill germs.
But what we're doing is we're creating a wavelength that's not in natural light. And then we're timing it up with a dosage.
Partnering with the University of Montana's Professor William Holben and the MCC Belgrade for manufacturing, the company has a focus on giving back to those who put themselves in harm's way with no hesitation.
It is the peace of mind to allow people to continue to be these incredible stewards, these angels, if you will, that are willing to do things that others won't. We have to do everything in our power to give them that opportunity to continue to be these blessings in people's lives.
Cart Clean recently sold some of their incident response bags, complete with a compact version of the science meant for first responders, to Gallatin County Sheriff's Department. Gardner and his team were just happy to help those who help us.
To actually give back to our heroes, what an incredible blessing.
As Gardner says, they are providing safer solutions for tomorrow. In Missoula, Hannah Hislop, MTN News.
Nearly everywhere you look, you can find "We're hiring" signs, from fast food to retail and even corporate offices. Companies are recruiting new workers. One program in Great Falls is helping teens and young adults prepare for the workforce and fill some of those vacancies.
Welcome to Opportunities Incorporated. How can I help you?
18-year-old Brooke Thill works at Opportunities, Inc.
I come every day. Sometimes I will come earlier than what I'm supposed to because I love this office so much, and I answer the phones and hope customers come in and answer their questions.
She's one of the teens involved in the Youth Employment Program, teaching 16 to 24-year-olds workforce skills. Skills that may seem simple but go a long way in work and life.
Showing up to work, showing up on time, making sure you're there every day. How to dress when you go to work, how to talk when you're at work, and just things like, interacting with your coworkers. If you have a disagreement with a coworker, how do you overcome that? If you have a disagreement with your boss, how do you overcome that?
Some of the teens and young adults in the program have struggled with the law or school. Some have dropped out, others live with anxiety or just need a little encouragement.
Well, I initially got involved with it because I always had a hard time trying to find a job that could fit my needs and not be so claustrophobic and so overworked. They understand where people like me come from because they work with them all the time, and they can understand their needs and put them where they would work best in the program.
The Youth Employment Program focuses on helping participants in all areas of life, from housing needs to educational milestones and financial literacy. The young adults are encouraged to dream big and set goals.
I've always wanted to become like a beautician and go on to do hair and makeup. Eventually they'll help with that, but right now they're just teaching me how to work in a working environment and get a feel for what it is going to be like out there in that job.
The pandemic hasn't slowed the program down at all. In fact, Jeff says they've seen an uptick in the number of participants. And in an age of abundance of hiring signs, Opportunities is teaching the younger generation the value of hard work.
To be self-sustaining and to have a place to live, and you need to work hard, and we really push that, to be hard workers wherever they go, not just come and get a paycheck.
Opportunities encourages all teens and young adults up to the age of 24 to submit an application. In Great Falls, Shannon Newth, MTN News.
Cajun Fatty's is a longtime favorite restaurant in Billings, serving the community for 10 years. Now, they are serving the communities devastated by Hurricane Ida. Cajun Fatty's started as a food truck and then upgraded to a restaurant, dishing out a taste of Louisiana cuisine. Owner Ashley Robichaud, a native from Louisiana, is actively raising money for two different groups, her friends and the Cajun Navy. Both are assisting those impacted by Hurricane Ida, offering water, food, fuel, and any other necessary supplies. For Ashley, this is important because it hits close to home.
My grandbabies are out there in the Baton Rouge area, born and raised there, and it's important, it's important for us all to come together wherever you live, wherever you are, and try to help out your neighbors. But for me, it's a little bit closer. My babies are down there, and the rest of our family lives there, and so we want to help. I mean, these guys are really in trouble right now, so that's important.
Giving doesn't stop there. Ashley has also helped Louisiana communities from past hurricanes. If you'd like to donate to the cause, head to Cajun Fatty's Facebook page, or better yet, stop by, grab a bite to eat to show your support. In Billings, Matthew Hidalgo, MTN News.
She's one of the few Native American students in the dietetics major on MSU's campus. Its expertise, Jade Yazzie plans to use the impacts the lives of people in the communities who have already given so much to her.
I would like to give back to Native communities in general, not just my community, but as much as I can give to Native communities so that they can see that Native dietitians, especially Indigenous people, are needed back home.
Jade Yazzie believes food is life. She's a dietetics major at Montana State University, a path she chose because she feels there needs to be more options to learn about behavioral health on reservations.
Even though dietitians can specialize in certain things, how I saw it was dietitians are there to help you understand food, but not just to understand food, but we are there to help you in the long run instead of the short term. And that's why I want to give back to Native communities, because we're losing our people, sadly.
She grew up on the Navajo reservation in Arizona and also has family connections in Rocky Boy. She first studied nursing, but then realized educating people about how better food choices could change their lives was her true calling. She dreams of sticking with a patient long after the event that brought them to the hospital for true long-term healing.
I want to give back to my community because I want them to know that dietitians do exist.
She says there's a lack of education on reservations about everything from how to read food labels to what steps to take for long-term care after a diabetes or heart disease diagnosis. She wants to change that.
I've never seen a dietitian in any health clinics ever. So we're kind of like the back burners, but we play such a huge role with aftercare, especially with outpatients, because they still need our help.
Meantime, on MSU's campus, her friends say she already has a reputation for leadership and strength. She's a grad student in her 8th year of schooling, but Jade recalls a time right after she left her Arizona home when she didn't know if she could handle the pressures of college and being so far away. Jade says she was able to overcome the homesickness because of Native American communities on campuses in Montana that took her in and showed her she was family.
It's just the welcoming and just being so happy, like just welcoming into your community and being so selfless and making sure that Native students succeed.
She says she tries to show that same love to other students and one day to the patients that will call on her for help.
I'm not going to change it overnight, but step by step, and more progress is being made towards that, and I want to be a part of that change.
Jade says she's passionate about bringing the 4 pillars of health into her practice to be there for others spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. In Bozeman, Holly Brantley, MTN News.
When it comes to singing and dancing in Native American culture, it's more than just music. It's about sharing stories of the past. I spoke with one family who has been to many powwows and also recently competed in a talent contest and won. The talent contest was called Natives Got Talent. Harlan Kicking Woman has been dancing since he was 18 months old, and this year he and his father won first place in the group's contest for Natives Got Talent, put on by the All Nations Health Center in Missoula. Dancing and singing isn't just about winning contests, his mother says. Tracy Kicking Woman says it also strengthens the father-son bond.
It makes me feel good, and it makes me know and aware that he's growing up the way he should.
Their talent also teaches culture.
We keep the powwow circle in our powwow circle. We just keep our kids going because they're our future of tomorrow. So it's really good to keep your kids involved in that for Native American people.
She adds that in pre-pandemic years, summer was spent traveling to different powwows over consecutive weekends, celebrating Native American culture and sharing stories. However, the past 2 summers were different to allow social distancing and to stay safe from COVID-19. But many continue to share their talent online instead of meeting in person.
The video, it was good. It was okay. Like, we accepted it. It was different, but we knew people were watching.
But they are ready for the return of in-person celebrations.
Probably have more of a meaning, and it would probably be more powerful because from being on video and then transitioning back into the powwow circle, it would probably just be like we never left.
As for Harlan Kicking Woman, he says he likes dancing while his father sings because
it's a healing dance.
And his mother says it's through dancing and singing that comes the healing. And also for tomorrow's generation as they learn stories from their ancestors. For MTN News, I'm Phoenix O'Connor.
Montana makers from Eureka to Dell to Scobie will be gathering here this weekend for the 2021 Made in Montana trade show.
Makers just like Helena's Mary Boyle.
I'm very proud of my work. I'm proud of what I do. I'm proud of the artistry, and I like sharing it with people.
She crafts handmade, Montana-inspired cutting boards, and that pride in her work, trade show organizers say that is exactly what Made in Montana stands for.
It's definitely a symbol of pride. It's a symbol of exceptional quality, and it's a symbol of who we are here in this state.
The Made in Montana trade show is a chance for people to shop Montana-made goods, everything from food and pet goods to clothes and cutting boards. It also connects Montana makers and products with wholesale buyers from out of state and out of the country. After tough economic conditions due to COVID-19, shows like this are important.
So obviously the shows are a huge influx of cash over the summer months. It did slow down, and my income dropped significantly because of that.
125 exhibitors from 52 Montana towns and cities will be at this year's show, including 36 new vendors, just like Mary and Birch Swing Woodworks.
We have great artisans, great manufacturers, and we should support each other.
When you buy something made in Montana, you know you're supporting a maker right here in our state.
The Made in Montana trade show kicks off here at the Lewis and Clark County Fairgrounds this Friday for wholesale buyers. Then it opens up to all shoppers at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Admission is free, and so is parking. In Helena, Marion Davidson, MTN News.
Up next on Positively Montana, it's pedal to the metal as a Montana man blazes his way into the record books. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Positively Montana, sponsored by Whitefish Credit Union.
So I'm inside a 1927 Ford Roadster, at least the outside, the body is. But guess what? It's powered by a Chevy motor. Jimmy Wallenberg's Flying Rose Racing brought home some land speed records from Speed Week at the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah last month.
Last year we set a record, 173.5, and then this year we set a record early in the week at 177, and then we smashed that later in the week and set a new record at 198 in this class.
Wallenberg and his team used this car, a 1927 Ford rear modified roadster with a supercharged Chevy engine powered by blown gas. Flying Rose Racing competed with a D-Class engine, an engine that is between 261 and 305 cubic inches. Wallenberg and his team made tweaks this year to push his car even faster than his 2020 record.
We changed the rear end gearing this year and put taller gears in it so we could run out further, get more top end speed.
And as for what it's like racing on the salt, Wallenberg described it to me.
Like 100 square miles of nothing but white salt. So you have no definition out in front of you. It's super flat. You don't have anything flying by except mile markers. It's a super unique place, like nowhere. It's like being on the moon. I mean, it's just nothing else like it.
Speed Week happens 1 week in August, so you have about a year to tinker around in the garage.
The keys to a strong relationship are communication, trust, and for this couple, running.
What are you doing back there?
Matt is a Montana native, while Tresia lived in New Mexico for most of her life. Over 1,000 miles apart, but thanks to Facebook, a love for running, and a little bit of dumb luck, the two got to talking about, you guessed it, running.
She had posted a video of her running through like a wooded area, more or less, a trail.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I'm jealous. That's a beautiful running spot.
And then we started talking about running, and I told him how much I loved it and all the things that I did because of it.
Ask either of them, and they have very different stories on how they found their love for running. Matt is a longtime athlete who has competed in 91 Spartan races, while Tresia only started running about 2 years ago to help with her mental health.
It was just a great way to express all that stress out openly and positively. You know, I just felt like it was the only place that didn't make me feel like I needed to do anything, and just me and the pavement. And
Running saved her, and now both of them have a mission to help their community, whatever community they find themselves in. The two moved here in May and found themselves struggling to meet people. So they started with the best thing they knew, running.
Our goal was to make that connections with other people, to be part of a community, to create friendships, to encourage and motivate each other, hold accountable in a group setting, even, you know, just share that passion overall.
Have a hug?
Of course.
A passion, perseverance, and a best friend to push you makes all the difference.
Get off me.
All right, so running is definitely not my thing, but if it's yours, check out GFM Running on Facebook. In Great Falls, Lindsay Singer, MTN News. Hold on, guys, I'm coming.
After the break, Bridger residents are taking note about a concert that celebrates music from around the world. Keep it here.
More stories from the heart of the Treasure State are on the way when Positively Montana continues after this. Sponsored by Whitefish Credit Union.
The Bridger Public Library is holding a concert titled Around the World in 30 Instruments to help enrich the community.
Is an opportunity that some of these children will never see. They've never seen a sitar. They've never seen some of the instruments that they will bring, or a hammered dulcimer, or things like that. And music to me is essential, as is reading.
The duo, called 4 Shillings Short, travels across the country playing music on varying instruments. Their shows are educational, and those at the library hope the experience will show the community the value of the arts.
To bring community to the community, and an interactive educational experience that is also entertainment and fun-hearted. I think that's going to be probably one of the biggest benefits of this concert.
The revenue from the concert will go towards supporting the library and their everyday operations.
I'm a huge proponent for education and libraries
just continue that so it's lifelong. It may be not just books, but it's computers, it's research, it's help in the community, it's community development, it's entrepreneurial stuff. Libraries can provide all of that. Libraries are important.
The concert, along with a book sale, will be held on Wednesday the 15th. In Bridger, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
Here in Helena, the Margaret Stewart Youth Home provides important care for young people in need. On Friday, they got a big surprise that will help them in the work they do. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Montana dropped by to deliver a $50,000 check to Youth Homes, the organization that operates the home. They were selected for the Healthy Kids, Healthy Families grant.
It was a wonderful surprise. I thought that they were coming to do a final interview.
Youth Homes runs 8 residential programs across western Montana. The Margaret Stewart Home serves youth ages 11 to 18, providing short-term placements for crisis intervention as well as longer-term group care. The goal is to create a safe home environment.
We really try to let kids be kids. And we're staffed by caring adults who want to be here. They're certainly not here for the paycheck.
With this grant, Youth Homes plans to give their counselors some additional assistance.
They will be able to see a therapist and have some groups and get some extra support for dealing with these kiddos. There's a fair amount of turnover in the position, and I am only as good as my team. And so I really, it's important to me to keep my folks and to train them well.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield says the work Youth Homes does is vital, giving kids life skills, good nutrition, and a safe place to stay.
And so we know that when kids are healthier, our communities are healthier. And so to us, this seemed like a great resource and great place for us to contribute some dollars.
This was one of 4 grants that Blue Cross and Blue Shield are delivering this year for the Healthy Kids, Healthy Families program. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
And that's a wrap for this edition of Positively Montana. Thanks for being with us, and we hope to see you again next weekend.
The Beauty, MTN, Montana's news leader.